time? 30? 30 seconds? I'm on right now. I don't believe you.
Run.
What?
Good evening, one and all. Thirsty Thursday, is it? Well, you can quench your thirst here on the Brews at 10. On my left eye, I'm your host Lefty. Welcome everybody. How are we? Thanks for joining us on stream. Let's brew this thing. And it's not been a bad day, has it? I think it's fair to say. There's been worse news recently. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested on his birthday, for a start. Yeah, quite incredible. One of quite a few stories that we're going to get into on tonight's stream. First of all though, people, a few important matters to deal with. First of all, hit thumbs up on the stream. Second of all, please do fill out the poll. Regarding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, do you think he'll go to court? If you think he will and he'll be found guilty, select that option. There's also aye and not guilty. Or if you don't think he's going to go to court, if he won't see justice, then select nay at the moment. The ayes have it, and guilty as well. And we have the other goings on in the chats. First off, let's kick off with a few hellos. Davinia, nice to see you. Graham Turner, pleasure as always. Blowsnake, Watermelons, nice to see the representation there. Eddie Lukiel, Solidari-Tea for joining us. Specs Bean Farmer as well. More and more people joining as I speak. Katie Marshall is celebrating 9 months of membership. Awesome stuff. And Specs Bean Farmer celebrating 10 months of membership. Thanks a lot for sticking with us on the channel. Solidari-Tea. Nice way to start the stream there. See a few people celebrating. And we've had a gifted membership as well. Is it 5? Is it 1? It looks as though the glitches are glitching again. Thank you very much though, Midi Doctors. Oh goodness me. The gremlins returned. You will be reimbursed for those 4 missing gift memberships though. I think we should still give Midi Doctors a massive shout out in the chat though. And I'll update it 211, which is still a record. We still go into new ground, into new territory. Speaking of new things, did you notice the slightly tweaked new intro? Maybe you did. But thank you very much once again, MIDI. 210. Awesome stuff. That's not the only new, what's the word I'm looking for? New graphic. A few bits and pieces that are going to be debuting on tonight's live stream. So yeah, hit thumbs up and all of that supportive stuff. One very, very quick mention as well. I'll bid anybody listening to get your phone or your tablets if you're not watching on that device in the first place, but if you are, in a moment, just after I explain, otherwise it won't work, you won't be able to hear the instructions. Please do open YouTube, make sure you're logged in to YouTube, go to my left eye, go to videos, and please do open the most recent video on the channel and hit thumbs up. It's as easy as that. But then you'll see, possibly, depending on which country you're in, something appear underneath that says hype this video. Now you can spend some hype points on your favourite YouTube content, and it helps push them in the algorithm, so please do consider using some of your quota on our most recent video, which concerns the Rupert Law and the split of the far rights, which we actually went into on the last stream the other night. Of course, no PMQs yesterday. We're on half-term recess. So it's been a couple of days since we've been on stream. Fret you not, people. We'll be catching up with a few of the latest stories, as well as, of course, the current hot seat in Gorton and Denton for the upcoming by-election, which is a week tonight, people. A week tonight. In fact, this time next week, the polls will have just about closed. We might even have some tasty exit polls to get our teeth into. I'll be right here. I'll be live, hopefully, with some developing news stories. It's not the only thing that's going on next week either, so lots to come. I did update the goal, didn't I? I believe I did. Why is it? It's still reading 210. So let me try again. That's quite bizarre. Just gonna have a look on YouTube Studio, where it still says 210 as well. I don't know why, but for some reason the membership total isn't functioning this evening. Possibly in tandem, in league, in cahoots with the gremlin that throws back memberships. But there you go. Because if that had never happened, we'd be going on 300 by now, I dare say. So we are on 211. Yeah, that's right, 211. Which is over 200. Let's start a quick celebration again.
Can you?
Ah, okay. I think I know what's happening. Probably the same thing as the total not working. Bear with, people. You might experience about 5 seconds of buffering or something in a moment. Just having a tweak here. One second. But if we're not back on live in the next few seconds. You'd leave me no choice. You'd leave me no choice. So 3, 2, oh, you lucky bastard. Yes, here we are back live on the Brews at 10. And we were just about to celebrate going over 200 members once again on the channel, just before we give a shout out to the latest roster. Thank you very much, everybody.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Have you had enough, Nazi, or do you want some more?
Well, we won't say no to even more members as we get towards the goal of 250. Oh, and the counters righted itself again. That's good. Shit back on course. The good shit brew. We're going to an island called justice and democracy and freedom. There are 250 spaces, 211 of which have been filled. You're going to see all of the members bar one, which was generously gifted just moments ago. But everybody else is on this list. This is fresh and hot off the press, people. I do appreciate all of the support wherever it comes from. Sharing content's also massively important, as well as hitting thumbs up and that hype button if you're on the right device and in the right place. And we have super chats, which is available if you're watching live. Super stickers as well. You might want to choose the Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of any content on this channel. And for those who like to watch back later on, there's also super thanks as well. Yes, we owe super thanks to everybody whose names you can see on the list if you want to join these marvellous members. Just 99 pence. A fraction of the price of a tasty hot beverage. And there's lots of perks to enjoy, so please hit the, which one is it? The join button, in fact. Yeah, and especially on that most recent video, please people, just a quick reminder, that would be fantastically awesome. If you could hype that one for us. Got off to a bit of a slow start. It did get released yesterday, but members first. Released very late at night, but went public this afternoon. Thanks again, every single one of you. Move on in just one sec. It's back on here. I've got it back on studio. Back for everybody else. Oh, Davinia says back as well now. That's cool. Doc, the hype thing. Okay, so just to re-explain, sorry. It's semi-convoluted, I know. But if you are watching on a mobile phone or a cellular telephone, if you're watching in the United States of America, or a tablet, then after you hit thumbs up on the video, it should appear, depending on which country you're watching in. So as you hit thumbs up, just underneath the thumbs up button, thing should appear that says hype this video, and it will ask you to spend whatever 1,700 and yada yada points. Forget about the points, you get about 3 videos worth per week. I don't know why they've done this convoluted point system. that's not even, you know, decimalized or anything. It's ridiculous. I just have, you know, 50 points and all this other stuff. It's for some reason quite far-fetched, the point system, but the point being it refreshes every week, so you can hype 3 videos worth every week. Hope that explains it a little bit better. So that will not work on desktop, yeah, just to remind you. PC, laptop, anything like that. So next time you are on your phone or your tablet, hope you got the app, download the YouTube app. It's mostly baked into anybody, especially if you use Google as your search engine. Katie Marshall, don't worry about it, No Justice videos are certainly worth hyping as well. Yeah, friends of this channel, winners of Alternative Media Channel of the year even, 2025, along with Kevin Logan on the My Left Eye Awards. So yeah, nothing wrong with hyping No Justice at No Justice MTG, or Kevin Logan at Ploppy111. That's 111, which is the illest number that there is. Davinia, hype is sort of like share in the sense that the more hype points a video has, the more YouTube will present the thumbnail to viewers. You know, in your browser, your normal YouTube browser with all the videos and shorts and everything. So the ones that have more points, and they'll still be looking for the right demographic of audience and stuff, depending on your titles and if you use hashtags and all the rest of it, but you have more chance of being seen, and that's how it works. Because no one can watch your video if there's no thumbnail in front of them to click on. It's quite competitive. This is the second biggest platform in the world, people. Many new channels are created every day. Admittedly, some do either give up or they remain dormant forevermore. But we do appreciate where we've got so far. Anyway, I've been yabbering on for a while. I need to get started. You tried on your Android phone, it didn't happen, Ephra. You don't pay to subscribe to YouTube, so maybe that makes a difference. Okay. I'm pretty sure you have to be subscribed to the channel that you're hyping, but I'll look into that. Yeah, and it can also come up as the next video. That's another way that they can help to push your content. Alright, the opening comedy clip. Well, we didn't have one on the last stream. This one's a bit of a longer one, and I have to be honest, I've not seen this yet. But as soon as I saw it, I know I'd have to put it on the live stream because, well, speaking of YouTube, this is a channel that's actually been, air quotes, cancelled recently because of nothing to do with Mountbatten, Windsor, but over Paddington Bear, of all things. So Spitting Image is now only available on the websites. However, they have released a special through some means on YouTube. I don't know how they've actually done it, but Let's take a look at this one. I think some of it might be sort of a compilation type thing as well. But they just had to, given the news, and how much they've been ripping him. Okay, let's get into this. Spitting Image, I'm sure you've all heard of Spitting Image. I'll put a link in the description nonetheless. But they are still putting out episodes every week on the website as well, so do check that out. But The Rest Is Bullshit is unfortunately now absent from YouTube, apart from this recent offering.
Welcome, listeners. This is Diary of a Principled, Ethical, Dynamic Organizer. Got an email here from Andrew Prince at hotmail.com. He asks, what is the average day-to-day like for a sexy, non-sweaty, high-performance, pizza-loving prince like you? Well, thanks for asking. Great question from me. From Andrew there. Well, spring out of bed at 11 a.m. I make a point of always rising before noon. Unless it's a weekday. It's important to stay in touch with the markets. I recommend Homes Under the Hammer. It's fascinating that people actually pay for their homes. So, find Diary of a PDO wherever you get your podcasts. Next week I'll be talking about how to deal with intrusive journalists with my good friend Mohammed bin Salman.
From the dirty rotter himself, the prince of punk-like behaviour, with the new album, Never Mind the Allegations, here's the Sex Pest.
'Cause I wanna be a monarchy.
Including the hits.
No more titles anymore. No more titles anymore.
And here's a song with some undertones.
I gotta hold you tight. I got teenage chicks all through the night.
Jesus.
All right.
Buy now and get bonus diss tracks.
We've got a prince who's the black sheep.
His lack of judgment makes us weep. He can't control his entitled desire.
So we've made him a royal pariah.
We don't want Andy. We don't want Andy.
And an exclusive track from the artist formerly known as Prince, Charles.
You're addicted to sex, don't you know that you're toxic?
And many more hits, including Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon, Good Old-Fashioned Lover Boy, Too Much Too Young, and Smells Like Teen Spirit.
I feel stupid and contagious.
Buy now for your free limited edition Order of the Garter Belt.
Welcome, peasants. This is Diary of a Professional Eminent Duke and Orator. And, have to say, the old diary was looking a bit empty.
Well, with a few seconds, I think this is just frozen. Stay put, people. Just literally a few seconds, I'll sort this out.
Got an email here from Andrew Prince.
Okay, good to go from here. Thanks for your patience.
This is Diary of a Professional Eminent Duke and Orator. And, have to say, the old diary was looking a bit empty after Charlie's Christmas invite to the palace got cancelled. No problem. P. Diddy's invited me over. Ah, looks like he's not going to be free now either. There, but for the grace of God. Pour one out for my homie. Honestly, you can't even take female friends across state lines anymore. Now, your butler may have told you I was named in the Epstein files for a massage payment. Let me explain. Massage? No, mass-age was short for massive ageism, which I'm thoroughly against. I may be 65, but I've always felt a teenager. And so, Andrew
Bloody hell.
Mass-age...
And he's actually 66 today. Happy birthday. Enjoy those fucking microwave meals, you bastard.
Age was for a charity helping to stamp out massive ageism. Glad that's all sorted. Nothing like a happy ending. Just like those schoolgirl massages I have recently heard about and would never have indulged in. Join me next week, where I'll be explaining if I give you 12 million quid, you shut the fuck up!
Your Holiness, as a fellow head of a church, it is an honour to pray alongside you.
Oh, this is great.
I want to be clear from the off, you limp dick limey fuck. I'm the only head of the church round here.
I meant no offence. As king, I am head of the Church of England.
You call that a church? It's our Lady Vickers and gets the weight of the motherfucking cake. We're old school round here. Fire and brimstone for even the most minor infractions.
Ah, yes, I did want your advice about that, actually. How should one discipline a senior member of the family who has strayed with the junior members of the congregation?
What's he supposed to do? Not succumb to temptation? How have you punished him so far?
Well, I've told him he can keep his titles, but not use them in public.
Whoa! Jockey boy! You are one tough son of a bitch. I underestimated you. It's more than I would have done.
You know, it's so refreshing to talk to someone who sees it from my perspective. Thank God.
What did you just say? Did you just take the Lord's name in vain?
What? No, it's just an expression.
Suck metal fuckface! Keep the change, you filthy animal!
Keep those votes coming in the poll, people. Will Andrew Mountbatten Windsor stand trial for his crimes? Say you aye and be found guilty. Say you aye and be found not guilty. Or say you nay. Currently aye, the ayes and guilty have it with 52% to 44% the nay.
It's the Studio C Anal back catalogue of horror.
Yeah, it's a compilation, Davinia.
Starring the Hand of Epstein.
Candyman, 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 Candyman.
Finally, someone wants to hang out with me.
This is from the
After
Halloween
starring in
episode
Child's Play,
as well, yeah, I think.
the errant prince is back as Andy Man.
I actually said Candyman.
Oh, my ears are on the fritz. Had Charles and Fergie bollocking me all day. Greetings, plebs, and welcome to Diary of a Practicing Eccentric Duke, okay? This week, I have a special guest. Please welcome a man like me who sees the law as optional, Tony Blair.
It's a pleasure to be here, Your Royal Lowness. Mandelson vetted you and says you're fine.
It's true to say, you and I have both been led down the wrong path by lack of intelligence.
Yup, sure, it happens. But it's better than not making a decision, and I would still make the same decision today, and I think you would too.
Damn right. I mean, it was damn wrong.
Sure.
I've been told. Anyway, there are 12 million reasons not to talk about that again. So, with a need to recoup the old bang balance, I'd like to talk about our sponsor and a product I'm very passionate about. Not feeling yourself? Want to feel a youngster again? Then you need protein.
Protein?
That's right.
Oh, God.
You from Not So Innocent Smoothies. Protein. The guilty pleasure shake that never gets old.
Peter, you gotta stop setting me up with these guys.
Wait, come back. I haven't told you about my weapon of massive destruction.
Here in East Anglia, on the Sandringham Reservation, we find one of the rarest of the species, lower in the pecking order and now banished from his usual hunting grounds.
Oh, well, yeah, speaking of birthdays, it's actually David Attenborough's 100th centenary birthday, so he'll be getting a cat. Oh, the irony. This is just, it's great. What a great day. So, Mountbatten Windsor's in jail, and he shares a birthday with David Attenborough, who's going to be getting a birthday card off his brother today, of all days. Wow. How's about that? And they're in the same Spitting Image skit. It's all connected. Let's get up the Paul Mason connections map. Yeah, once again, congratulations, David Attenborough. 100 years of quality nature documentaries. Well, not 100, he wasn't doing them his whole life, but you get the gist.
Ex-Prinships Andrex.
Fuck my life. I've got to live in fucking Norfolk.
And I got a liver with you, mate.
A former apex predator showing neither fear nor remorse, genetically devoid of shame. His mating call is no longer effective.
Hello? Jeffrey? Bugger.
Despite being cast out of the herd, there is a crumb of comfort. He is still more popular than the hapless political bottom feeder, Prime Minister Tragicus, the Keir Starmer.
Oh no.
I've never seen that part before in my life, Your Honour.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
What?
What they done to Andrew?
You think?
Yeah, I mean, how many cushions have you humped over the years?
Well, I mean...
Not as many as J.D. Vance.
Too. And there was a time you went for Michelle Obama's leg.
Well, I'm not the one who licks his cock every time that Starmer comes to visit the boss.
Gotta do something to pass the time. That man's so boring.
Speaking of which, I think the new boy's trying to do that now.
No, can't reach. Oh well.
He shouldn't complain about being in the doghouse.
Yeah, he's lucky they didn't cut his balls off like ours.
Gone but not forgotten.
Open to trying out new methods. It'd certainly be effective. Oh, remember this. We remember this one. We shared this one. This is very good. Let's see what I've got in my sack.
Ho, ho, ho! Come on, peasants, say hello to Father Christmas. My brother certainly couldn't get any farther from me this Christmas. Bastard!
Hello, Santa.
Hello, dear. Have you been naughty? Oh, very naughty. I've got a list.
You should be on a list.
Ho, ho, ho! Now, what do you want for Christmas, young lady?
10 grand or I'll tell security you got a hard on.
You selfish, money-grabbing, conniving little brat! Have you ever thought about joining the royal family?
10 grand or I'll tell him Santa made me sit on his North Pole.
All right. I have no recollection of this meeting. I'm actually in Pizza Express in Woking again. Anyway, I'm sure I've got some cash in my sack. No idea what that's for.
I do.
Ah!
Remember, Christmas is a time for giving.
Ooh, right in the baubles!
Giving court summonses, let's hope. Yep.
Season's
This
beatings.
is good. There it is, spittingimageofficial.com if you want to check out the full episodes that got banned on YouTube. A legal incursion, apparently, over, well, a distorted image of Paddington Bear, but that was great. That was great. Go and check them out, though. I've been keeping up with the website myself. Awesome. There's a link in the description for that episode as well. So, time to get serious and political. I guess we've got to dive into this story from a left-wing perspective. Just want to reiterate that I definitely hadn't seen that one part of that compilation before, Your Honour.
Oh no.
Right, let's get into the story.
On with it. Yes, get on with it.
Where to begin? Where to begin? We're going to start by hearing from Graham from Republic. Nice chap. I've met him a couple of times during escapades in London, coalition marches and demos and such. Obviously a staunch Republican, anti-monarchist. So he was on the BBC earlier. We're going to take a look at this and then dive through the article, see if there's any more developments. Yeah, and during one of those escapades, actually, a bunch of people were arrested. It's like thought police. Lorries were stopped that had placards in the back of them, and people were arrested for having placards in a van. I don't know if you remember that story. But that was that very day, actually. One of the times that bumped into Graham. Let's see what's happening.
This is a very, very serious crisis. The worst serious crisis the worst crisis that has hit the monarchy in living memory in the democratic era. And, you know, we have an institution that is already losing support quite rapidly. We have an institution that most people under the age of 50 are not that bothered about. And now they are exposed to quite serious accusations. It's not just Andrew. There are serious questions being asked. As we heard, you know, hecklers asking them. BBC journalists not so much, but hecklers are asking these serious questions about what did William and Charles know? When did they know it?
Well, they knew. And they knew. They knew. Even the late Queen Elizabeth II knew. Don't tell me you can go up to your mother and beg for a large part of £12 million without having to say what it's for. Just, you know, oh yeah, I will be able to defend myself in courts, but I'm just going to pay them off anyway. I need £12 million, mother. Yeah, and King Charles knows. And that's why he's been expelled from the royal family. And the timing of this is significant as well. It's only been, what, weeks since he lost his titles? And then the police come knocking on his door. There was no way, I don't think, that the king wanted that happening. It obviously wouldn't be the first time that a royal was imprisoned. I mean, of course, historically, those of you know your history of British kings, they used to even lock up their own siblings, you know. But now in the modern era, this would be pretty much unheard of. So it was very important for him to not have the titles before this happened, and I don't think that that's a coincidence that those sequences, the sequence of events, has happened in the order that it has. Bottom line, though, they all knew. Potentially, a lot of people strongly suggest Sarah Ferguson, his ex-wife, knew as well. Other royals, of course, current, waiting in line to the throne. Prince William, Harry. Unfortunately, Princess Diana isn't really around for the I told you so's, and the reasons and motives and methods behind that are a conversation for another time. But plausible deniability has got to be out of the window. I'm not even going to have my intelligence insulted by the mere suggestion of that if it comes from King Charles or any other royal. Because we know what they're like. These sick bastards.
You know, it's not serious to suggest that Andrew, if these allegations are true...
Actually, very quickly, it was brought recently. Back in the day, the most scandalous thing that was happening, I think this was during the 1990s, if I remember the story correctly, that there was some sort of toe-sucking incident, I believe Sarah Ferguson involved there, being caught on a sun lounger in an exotic location somewhere. Yeah, and that was it. That was the biggest sensation of the time. Things have certainly gone up a notch now, haven't they? Here in the 21st century. But whatever the next big taxpayer-funded, what's the word I'm looking for? Ceremonial flim-flam is, no doubt the BBC will be jumping all over it, and some hack who's on far too high a salary will be stood in front of a camera debating what colour frock that Princess Kate might be wearing, or whatever, like they used to do with the Queen. Although admittedly they haven't been doing it as much since we now have a male monarch. Well, not that I pay attention to royal correspondence as it is, but certainly don't hear, oh, what sort of blazer do you think he'll wear? What colour handkerchief will be tucked into the blazer, and what colour shoes, and all the rest of this, like they used to do with the Queen. It's fucking sad, and they call that journalism.
It's been behaving like this over the last 25, 30 years, and no one else knew. So there are much more serious questions which are not going to go away about how far the rot goes in the monarchy.
Well, there's absolutely no evidence of any prior knowledge of the King nor Prince William. What there is evidence of, though, is what...
Jesus. Wept. Were you born yesterday? Did you come down with the last drop of rain? Were you just recently biologically created in a laboratory using modern genetic techniques? How can we have this set of... And yes, if things do get down to court of law, what you call circumstantial evidence, that's what it's referred to. But really, this is as best as investigative journalism from the BBC can do. God, we don't know anything. We're only the biggest broadcaster in the world, by the way. But no, we wouldn't know how to get to the bottom of all of this. And the King certainly didn't. Oh, he couldn't have known, could he? He's never been like. What was this about? £12 million. Mum says she had to give you 12 million quid for something. What's that all about, bro? That never came up. No. Okay. And he never said, oh God, yeah, I just got back from this amazing time on this island with my really close friend, who I'm still going to stay in touch with, even though he's, first of all, people are saying things about it, and then later tried, convicted, in prison, and then not in prison. Definitely didn't. Well, I've nearly opened a can of worms there. Let's just listen to a bit more of this from Graham.
We've been seeing, and that is that at least to some degree, the King has allowed the law to
wasn't going to be lizards.
Take its course.
Sorry,
and surely that is all a head of state can do.
This is a very nice pro-royal BBC line there. Let's push the palace line, because there is evidence that the royals knew.
Of course there is.
Has made that abundantly clear.
Well, that's the statement on the right, so I'll just read some of that out. I'll skip back so that we can... Sorry to keep interrupting, Graham, if you're watching. So he says... Well, I won't do the voice. Charles' voice. In my head, as I'm reading it, it's in his voice. That's the hard part. I've learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten, and he doesn't say my brother. That's notable. Andrew Mountbatten, Windsor, and suspicion of misconduct. Suspicion of in public office. What now follows is the full, fair and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner. A lot of this, of course, revolves around him sharing documents, sensitive classified documents, with Jeffrey Epstein. That's what most of this is about. Just go back so we can hear more from Graham. Do check out Republic as well. I would assume that all or most people watching are anti-monarchists. So definitely an organisation worth checking out. Always a pleasure to work alongside them as well.
Allowed the law to take its course.
That was with JSO.
And surely that is all a head of state can do.
This is a very nice pro-royal BBC line there. Let's push the palace line, because I mean, you know, there is evidence that the royals knew. Andrew Lowney has made that abundantly clear that there is evidence that the royals knew. So I don't know why he said that. And
how does Andrew Lowney know? What's his evidence? Where does he get his information from?
You'll have to talk to Andrew Lowney about that. But just to simply dismiss it out of hand is just simply not acceptable. Now
I'm not dismissing it. I'm saying there's no evidence for what you're saying.
There's flight logs. There's flight logs and all sorts of things. For example, and these people live in an alternative reality. They think that they can subtly get on a jet and go halfway around the world and nobody will notice. Amongst the, buzzing of flies that is all of the major air traffic in the world, who's going to notice a prince going to an island? And obviously more of this is about the documents and the sharing of information, of course, but that will be all there in print. It's all there, and it's all time-stamped and dated, so that's the kind of evidence that is out there. Those were just a couple of examples. Again, this play of naivety from the Beeb really does my head in. It doesn't help when you have political editors like Chris Mason as well, who's really incredibly difficult to listen to without your piss boiling. Also, the novelty's worn off of trying to figure out the origins of Lise Doucette's accent when she's reporting on international matters and referring to the genocide in Gaza as a conflict or a war, for example. That sort of thing. So yeah, trying to figure out where the fuck Lise Doucette's from by ear. It's no fun anymore, because they're both talking complete and utter fucking waffle.
So, but apart from anything else, it is not serious, and any serious journalist would know this, that you cannot believe that Andrew, surrounded by police, by civil servants, by government ministers, by other royals, for 30 years, 40 years he's known Epstein, that no one knew anything about anything that he was up to. That is not a serious thing. And journalists like yourself should be going to Charles. They should be the ones standing at the fence line saying to Charles, what did you know when, and getting those answers. Because until we get those answers, we can't say whether or not they knew. So,
yeah, and he's been heckled multiple times now recently about what he did or didn't know. That is King Charles.
He's an asshole, sir.
And he knew what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein.
He's an asshole too, sir. Gun is made first class Philip asshole.
Deny, deny, deny. Denial isn't just a river in Africa. All put there. Graham from Republic. Just got the circle again. I'm gonna hold back one moment before I open the next one. Anybody else getting? We're good here. No complaints in the chat either. I'll assume it's all good then. Yeah, Andrew is a pensioner today, of course, 66. Might need that bus pass. Goodness me. He's got a major cash flow problem now, of course. Yes, we are, but we should be back. Everybody still receiving. Test, 1, 2. Should be. Sorry for anybody who wasn't for a moment or two there. Yeah, I'm surprised more former staff haven't come forward. Maybe they're saving it for an opportune moment. They don't want to miss out on those book deals. All of these people who used to make a living out of these bastards were happy to take money from the public purse for whatever duties they had, such as putting the toothpaste on the toothbrush for them. Yes, that is something that's done. Or wearing in new shoes, that sort of breaking them, wearing them in, whatever you call it. Because they don't hurt the feet, do they? Oh no, it's a bit uncomfortable wearing in the new shoes. But they haven't come out with any details, and they know. They can't keep it from the staff. The staff always know. We know what's good. We watch Game of Thrones. We know what's going on. Which, yeah, the new Night of the Seven Kingdoms is excellent as well, by the way, for anybody who hasn't checked that out. Definitely recommend it. What do you think, Rick?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So, that is good. And, yeah, if you're very familiar with the original Game of Thrones series, usual mix of, obviously, thrilling scenes, action, comedy, violence, drama, music as well, and theatre.
I don't know if anyone's into poetry at all.
So do check it out. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's stay on points.
Down with it.
We're just going to have a very quick skim through the latest live feed about this. Because I've been tremendously busy. It's been difficult to keep up whilst prepping for the stream. Just grab the article now. Quick reminder, hit thumbs up on stream, people. Fill out the poll as well. Let's check out the latest. See if there's any changes. It looks as though I and Guilty are still in the lead. Yes, still with 52% to 44% for the nays. Not many of you, 4%, really going for the prospect of him appearing in court but being found not guilty. We'll see. This will be up until the end of the stream, so please do vote appropriately. And we do have an update now. He's been released under investigation, so it's not a case of no further action. Dun, 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 dun. Got the circle here on the studio again. Hope you can still hear me. 1 second. Yeah, it's Mountbatten Windsor. He's doing it. Oh, don't worry. We'll have our revenge. Yes, buffering. Just please don't flood the stream there. But we appear to be back. So what's this all about? Bear with, just got to get the... It's not that one. It's not capturing the right window. I mean, I can see the article, but you can't see the article. That's the problem. Just one last... Otherwise, it doesn't matter. There don't appear to be too many updates. We've already been on the topic for a while, although it's pretty satisfying, let's be honest. Oh, there it is. Quick as you like. But we do have it. Let's see what's happening. We won't be defeated, we won't be put off by technical delays. The truth will be spoken. Yeah. Suspicion of misconduct in public office. That's what he was arrested on suspicion of. You can see that that picture. Look at him there with the... Jeez, he looks like he's just had a friggin' stroke. It's probably an attempt to evade photographers. Looks like one of the flash lenses has gone right down his right eye. Fittingly. The opposite to this one. So he was at Aylsham Police Station. It's the first time he's been arrested. Is it really? Thames Valley said there's been a thorough assessment and a formal investigation has been opened. I really do hope that they release the, if there were body cams, the body cam footage of this. Oh, goodness me. That'd be incredible. So, unmarked. I guess so as to be discreet. Not saying that that's by order of King Charles III, but it certainly is a higher than zero probability. Let's put it that way, people. But was Sham 69 punk? I believe they were a punk band. Sorry, is that a in-joke that's happening in the chat? Sorry, it was the first comment that I saw in the chat, Doc. Punk rock. Punk rock. And they say if you say you used to be a punk, you weren't one in the first place. There you go. That's more or less it. Not going to dig into this too much further. We've got other things to get into, people. Fingers crossed, though. Justice will be served. Currently 54% of you think that he will stand trial and be found guilty. So that option extending its lead. One final bit, just well, basically I'm going to take the piss out of James O'Brien, if very briefly. So this was part of his 2 cents on this whole story. One point in particular on this brief clip, it's less than 40 seconds long, but listen out for it. Now, he is actually on point whenever he's talking about Donald Trump, for example, but he fails on a lot of other issues. He is, in many senses, the atypical example of someone who would refer to themselves as either a centrist or slightly left of centre, but mostly, you know, centrist moderates. When it comes to the crunch, they'll always go with the right, because this is the same James O'Brien who spread the ASBS about Corbyn, for example, and undermined him in the run-up to the 2019 election. They voted for Johnson, actually, in the London mayoral elections prior to Johnson becoming Prime Minister as well. It's the same guy. And, yeah, anybody who was against leaving the European Union's very familiar with his extended rants on that topic, but apart from that, he falls short on a lot of matters, especially this one. Let's see what's happening.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, as he currently calls himself, the former Duke of York, the former Prince Andrew, is under arrest. He was arrested this morning at his new home in Norfolk, or at least where he's currently staying, on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, and he is under arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office. I hope this doesn't sound inappropriate. I mean, I'm glad that the late Queen isn't alive to see this, actually, because it is...
What? What?
I'm glad that the late Queen isn't alive to see this.
She must have known. It cost her 12 million fucking quid, you imbecile. Jesus Christ, James. Yeah, just 12 million. What do you want, 12 million? Oh. I'm the biggest landowner in all of the world, actually. More than all of the sheikhs of Arabia combined. Yes, you can have 12 million. In fact, I won't even miss it. Of course she knew. Get real, O'Brien, get real. You're glad that she's not around to see this. Oh, good, isn't this a tragic day for the monarchy, which I love and currently want to suck up to, live on LBC. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Again, just like it was with the Beeb, get real. Glad that she's not alive to see this. And all breathing through your teeth again. O'Brien.
Actually, because it is a moment of...
It sounds like fucking Darth Vader half of the fucking time.
I'm going to use the word, and I'm going to stop making jokes about using the word, because it's the only word that fits. It's a moment of unprecedented jeopardy.
A moment of unprecedented jeopardy. Oh, that must be... It's very serious. And then he does that thing where he signals over to his engineer or whatever to cut in with the fucking... Do-do-do. Little segue. Anyway, unprecedented, is it? Well, I've already mentioned, of course, historically, these bastards used to lock each other up if they considered them a threat to the, ascending to the crown. That's how it used to be back in the day. There's some ruthless stuff going on. So, yeah, we're talking about dungeons, we're talking about Tower of London, we're talking about Off with the Heads and all of that sort of stuff. An afternoon in a cell, which was probably made extra cushy for him anyway. Not the conditions that I've found myself in a few times, but yeah. Doesn't really compare. Unprecedented jeopardy. What? That we risk justice. What's the jeopardy? What are we in jeopardy of? A fucking ne'er-do-well seeing justice. That's not jeopardy. That's righteous. Get over yourself, O'Brien. Mr. Any other leader would be 20 points ahead. Look at Starmer now. Look at the guy who he's backed. Well, we've not forgotten. You might not want to talk about it anymore. I just wanted to throw that example out to you as well. This is up next. Starmer had a brief interview with the BBC today. We're not going to watch the full lot. He did mention this case and emphasised just basically similar to the way that the King did about the law being upheld, etc. Yawn, yawn, yawn. He then went into an attempt at an apology for the employment of Peter Scandelson, but didn't do a particularly good job of it. As is his custom, not being great in interviews, certainly not in interacting with any member of the public, thinking on his feet, improvising, telling the truth, even. What do you think about something? Well, I've got to stick my head out of the window and see which way the fucking wind's blowing, otherwise I don't have... Morgan! Morgan, what do I think? Oh, I fucking sacked him. Let's see how he did. You can put this in the excuses fail category, I think.
Have you, in your mind, fallen short of your own expectations ahead of becoming Prime Minister of being a good, effective Prime Minister?
I apologised for my decision to appoint Peter Mandelson to the role of ambassador, and I apologise to the victims.
You should be resigning because of it. You should be resigning, not apologising. You should be apologising on your way out of the fucking door. You know, that black door that has the number 10 on it in Downing Street. I'm sure that you could have heard me from across the road a few times since you've been in there, Keith, personally. Yeah, that's what should be happening. But, like I've said before, a lot of effort went into getting this man into the position he currently holds. And he's an asset. He is literally an asset, as well as being a staunch careerist and pig-headed and big-headed. Sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Win addict. I'd paraphrase the quote if I tried to use it. I've never lost a fight, I think. It was something like that. So yeah, he likes to be at the top. He certainly never been sacked or been forced into a resignation. So it's just basically pride. Dumb, foolish pride. As well as the fact that he's completely, totally lobbied. Like, at an atomic level, this guy.
For believing his lies. I have reflected a lot.
There's no way. Again, we're back to that one. He had to have known. So he's either the stupidest person on planet Earth, or he took a risk and lost. There's no win, it's a lose-lose situation. Just going to quickly refresh this video. Just paused. Sorry about the gremlins this evening. They really do have it in for us, but appreciate your patience for a few seconds here and there, just while I sort this out.
For my decision to appoint Peter Mandelson to the role of ambassador, and I apologise to the victims for believing his lies. I have reflected a lot on that.
Beat the clock. Sorry for the buffering there. Where were we? We were here.
So hard in this field for me to have accepted his lies was a mistake. And that's why I wanted to apologise to the victims first and foremost for having accepted his lies. And
the ones you don't give a piss frig about, let's be honest. Starmer, there are so many examples. They've even come out and said that you don't care about the victims.
Do so again now, if I may, through you, to apologise for having believed the lies that were told to my team and knowing the impact.
Your team sucks if they couldn't find out the most clear and obvious friendship between the two, with one of the most significant political figures from the Blair era of Labour politics, and even afterwards as well, with all of his dodgy connections and all of the rest of it, because he's been a part of it all for decades. Don't play the fool. Don't pretend to be naive. Again, it's just an insult to our intelligence, isn't it, people?
That will have had on so many of the victims and actually other people in Parliament and in my own party. And that's why I apologised, because I reflected good and hard on that
and decided I want to save my own career. So I threw Morgan McSweeney under the bus. I threw a few other people under the bus, but I'm still here, and I'm going to pretend that we've actually got a shot at May's local elections, and that it's not going to be an absolute bullet in the throat for my career, because that's what it. Right now, it's like he's just waiting for the final death blow, essentially, in this zombie government. This dead man walking here, this politically dead man walking, that is, figuratively. He's got to know it. He's got to know it. That's the only decision he took, if he did ever bother to self-reflect at all, but I doubt he did. These very words themselves were probably drummed up, you know, by some civil servant, so disingenuous.
As I said to my parliamentary Labour Party, nobody has been harder on me in relation to that than I have been hard on myself.
Prime Minister, thank you very much.
No. We're going to be a lot harder on you, Keith, that's for sure. The hardest way that you could be hard to yourself is by walking out, calling it a day, but he won't. What a spineless, an absolute coward. Does anybody know which job his dad had? That's a good question there. Pressure drop. Can't say I've ever heard him mention anything about his family. Certainly not his disabled sibling, who he fucked over as well with policy. And yeah, his mum, his dad. God, yeah. Your guess is as good as mine. Let's say that your dad was a grand chess wizard. It doesn't necessarily make you competent at the game or a grandmaster in itself, does it? Or, in fact, in terms of class. You don't have titles like Sir. Yeah. Sir Toolmaker, was it? No. You don't have job titles like Director of Public Prosecutions. But enough of Keith for now. Let's cheer ourselves up with a bit of an update on some good news we had the other day. Of course, the Filton 24 acquittals were massive news. Some have now been released, as you can see here. 18 have had charges of aggravated burglary officially dropped. 4 people have now been released. Huda Amori's judicial review proved the bogus terror link to be unlawful, of course. So that's really great. That's really great. Because the way things were going, let's be honest, with the prescription of Palestine action in the first place, and then what was happening with Defend Our Juries, which I'm very proud to say that I'm a part of in protest against that prescription, things were getting increasingly draconian, and then David Lammy came out and said, well, we're going to be scrapping trial by jury. So it's very good to see that the panel of 3 judges made the right decision where that's concerned, and they actually attempted to slightly make a slightly biased panel as well, by including a Jewish member on the panel. Of course, they tried to make that false association. Well, of course, there must be a Zionist genocide supporter, but alas not. Said judge voted in favour. So, very, very well done. They've held the ground, made a great case for themselves, and it just goes to show that even when your back's against the wall, when it looks as though justice is something that's on the way out, you can still win if you fight. Solidarity with the Filton 24. So I guess going to have to take that out of the closing bit as we say our goodbyes on streams. But there's always someone who needs to be freed, unfortunately. Perhaps we'll find a replacement in no time at all. What's happening in the chat, people? Social mobility, I don't like that term either. It implies that we live in a meritocracy, for example, as opposed to a lot of elements of success within your life literally being down to where you were born, the colour of your skin and your gender. That's pretty much it. Combinations, permutations thereof, of course. Yeah, I can see a few points about juries and things in the chat as well. Don't forget, and this is on that famous, infamous, I guess, sign in the Old Bailey. A jury has a right to acquit based on its conscience. Social mobility implies that there is a value judgment if you are lower class. Yeah, good point, Nina Sadie. It's a, yeah, term I've never really liked. Same as more fairly recent ones, such as, you know, cost of living crisis. It's poverty. People who are finding themselves fiscally challenged at the moment. No, it's poverty. Alright, I think we need to move on. My goodness, already been on stream for an hour and 20 minutes. Close that chapter for now. But we do have to be getting on with something quite exciting and new, actually.
On with it. Yes, get on with it. Get on with it.
Hopefully exciting anyway. We'll see what the team have mustered up for the, as promised, new introduction to Hot Seats as we take a look at the by-election in Gorton and Denton. Quite interested to see what everybody's come up with, so let's go. I see what we did there. Yeah, you'll all be singing along next time. You know it, people. So here we are. Hot Seats wants to watch Gorton and Denton. What's the latest? Well, actually, before we take a look at the latest, just a quick refresher. Shortly after this by-election was announced, this was one of the initial polls which we reported on at the time. Surveys, I should say. The lettering's quite small at the bottom, but this was from back in the last week of January into the first week of February. 30th of Jan to 1st of Feb to be precise, when, well, those were the standings. This is according to a poll of just shy of 1,900 local residents, by the way. So 34% for Greens, 39% for Reform, Labour in freefall, though with 21%, others on 6%. This was prior to some parties and independents deciding to step down in order to give the Greens a better chance, and goodness me, how things have changed in just a few weeks now. Let's not forget, people go to the ballots in just a week's time. So from the start of this month, let's take a look at the latest doorstep poll. At the moment, just adjust that 1 second. Not sure about the source on this one, but you can see just how close it is, and this does reaffirm the two-horse race theory, which of course we're going with here at My Left Eye, but just 0.2% separating Reform and the Greens. So just again want to quickly point out, this is something that was shared on social media earlier. Don't have an original source for this, so make what you will of that, but I did want to include that in the stats. But this is a nowcast. This is the latest nowcast, which is kind of a combination of some polls and whatnot. But are you ready for this one, people? Take a look at this. Oof. Jesus Christ. Well, you're looking at Labour losing 23.5%. Let's not forget, what was the majority? 13% when Andrew Gwynn won the seat in 2024. So this is with a 23.5% drop for Labour, but this has them just edging the Greens, with Reform in third. This is quite an interesting one. Haven't seen any polls, or even odds, which we're going to get onto. I prefer to rely on the bookmakers than certain pollsters. But no survey or odds that have shown Reform in third. Absolutely not, but this is a first, this nowcast, but look how close it is as well. 27.3 now for Labour according to this, 26.8, just half a percentage point behind Green Party, and then again just half a percentage point behind them. They, could barely be closer, really. But an interesting notation there. Not standing in the by-election now is the Workers' Party of Great Britain, so just over 10% there to be had. And given that it is the Workers' Party of Britain, I would probably not be sticking my neck out too far in saying that most of those would now go to the Greens. That's why they stood down. They don't want to dilute the votes. Fair play to them. Tories with just 5.9%. And when the Tory was on the BBC hustings the other day, yeah, she probably just went there for the free lunch. Let's be honest. Lib Dem as well, 3.5%. It's actually lower than the Tories, which is strange. So as far as this one goes, I would perhaps consider that 10.1% is mostly going to be going towards the Greens. In fact, now let's take a look at some of the latest odds on the matter. This is from the same comparison site that we took a look at the other day. Took the screenshot just shortly before coming on stream, so it should be fairly fresh. Again, odds on roughly 1 to 2 on. For the Greens. That is, for anybody who's not, again, familiar with odds and betting language, 1 to 2 on means if an event happened 3 times, then 2 out of 3 times the Green Party would win. In this case, Reform 3 to 1, roughly 3 to 1. Prices vary, of course, but what is also worth noting is that the odds are shortening for the Greens at the same time. That is getting more likely, whereas the odds indicated in pink for most of the bookmakers indicate Reform are getting less likely. So the weight of money, as it's known, has a lot to do with this, as well as obviously conditions and events and things like this. For example, if it was in sports, let's hypothetically, for example, a minor team in the English leagues somehow managed to bag a world famous striker, obviously their chances would increase, but also where people are putting the money also has a lot to do with the odds as well. But I'm not sure that you'd really take too many of Green supporters to fancy massive flutters. You know, they might have a few quid here or there on whatever, but not so much to change the markets. Unless it's all Matt Goodwin and he's saying, you know, well, if I'm not going to win, at least I'm going to profit the other way. That was a joke, by the way. I'm not making a serious accusation, though. But now that you mention it... so that is positive, and like I said earlier, I would take the bookies over any of the pollsters any day. To be honest, they don't give money away, that's for sure. So what do you think about all of those? We had the Nowcast and the Doorstep polls. We're seeing some quite varied results. But for those putting the money where the mouth is, it's odds-on favourites for the Greens. Okay, people. We'll be keeping you up to speed through the week, because it's just 1 week to go with the Gorton and Denton hot seat. Just one final point of order, I guess, on the matter where this channel is concerned. Unfortunately, I did say on the last stream or two that we'd be trying to get over to Gorton and Denton on one of the campaigning days to try and, well, speak to campaigners, perhaps even grab an interview with a few people, or potentially Hannah Spencer ourselves. Then it transpired, just as we were about to make official enquiries, that they've switched the day of the weekend from campaigning to Sunday this time around. It's been Saturdays, mostly have been the big days. Unfortunately, that clashes with something else, something very important that I do have to attend with Take Back Power stuff. So unfortunately, people, not going to be able to get over there with the campaigners, but we are going to have our eye on this hot seat throughout the week, and we'll be on stream, hopefully, this time next week, bringing you some very positive news from an exit poll, if any have come out by this time. What is it, 25 to midnight? Who knows? We could all be breathing a sigh of relief and saying, well done, Hannah, fingers crossed. Knock wood. So that'll be it from hot seats, but we will get on to other Green Party matters in just a moment. Sing along. Hot seats. You get what it is. Oh yeah. Groovy. You can't beat a bit of tongue-in-cheek humour. Yeah, more Green Party matters. Zach Polanski was he was in an official interview with Ian Dale, it was, of LBC. Bit of a snippet of that. Was watching that with the aforementioned Helena of No Justice live. I think Kev was on as well at the time. Kevin Logan. Who went through the whole thing, and I'd highly recommend checking out that stream on those channels. But as far as this snippet's concerned, it was when Dale was, yet again, this is one of many examples I could have taken from the whole thing, but Ian Dale trying to think that he knows more about what Jewish people think about Zionism than the man sitting across from him, who is Jewish. Yeah. And at one point, a caller phoned in from Manchester, actually. Zach's from Manchester as well, as he pointed out, I think, in his answer. But it was kind of a planted kind of thing. The what are you going to do to protect Jews kind of question. You know, the conflation, the Zionism thing. But he went into detail a little bit more about Zionism. He got a lot of points correct. There were a few frustrating things that he omitted, shall we say, with regards to the history of the origins of Zionism, it being a 19th century, colonial kind of enterprise. I don't want to say enterprise, endeavour, evil endeavour, of course, and then later began to be implemented in the period after the First World War, and then properly after the Second World War, of course, historically. But let's just see this, because it just shows what a pathetic Tory Ian Dale is. For example, if you want to watch the whole interview, like I said, it's, he's frustratingly not only arrogant, it's quite bizarre actually that someone can at the same time be arrogant as if to pretend to be all-knowing at the same time as playing dumb, which is what a lot of people on the issue of Zionism and the occupation and genocide in Gaza are concerned. Within the mainstream at least, so many of them play dumb and think they're in possession of the facts when they're not. Zach Polanski's a fan of this channel, by the way. Just so you know. And here he is. Just very brief clip. It's not the whole interview, like I said. And I did say one or two points that he should have really got into the answer there, but let's be honest, this is live. Out of so many people who we've seen lately, you'd struggle to find somebody who holds their own as well, and holds up as well to scrutiny. Live on TV is Zach Polanski. He does well as always.
Do you think Zionism is racist?
So my family, the Holocaust is in our DNA. And I think the idea of Zionism initially was...
Again, minor criticism. Should have just said yes at the start and then followed up on that because, of course, how do I put this? I know that he knows that it is. So but he does well in pointing out a lot of things about Zionism.
To make sure that there was a peaceful place for the Jewish people who were being persecuted right across Europe, and obviously most notably in Nazi Germany. In fact, my whole heritage involves pogroms in Ukraine, in Poland, and then arriving in the UK.
And Jews, Christians and Muslims lived peacefully for hundreds of years in Palestine. Whatever other place have tried to call it, obviously Israel, call it Israel. That's incorrect. But historically it's always been Palestine or British Palestine. Again, going back to the 20th century, World War era, or Palestinian territories. You sometimes still hear it referred to as Palestinian territories, which is almost like saying no man's land or something like that. It's very bizarre. But that's what it is.
I think clearly when the idea of Zionism was created, that was about making sure there was a peaceful place for people to live. I think the version of Zionism that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government put forward, I would say, is racist. It clearly involves the extermination of the Palestinian people. So I find the kind of conversation about the term less helpful because actually lots of people define differently. I think the important thing is what can we do about it?
Well, that's one of the problems now, because that argument has to be taken away from them, obviously, because it is a racist endeavour, like I pointed out. But you see, I remember one example, I believe it was Emily Thornberry, who was in an interview, and was it Channel 4? Can't remember. But they asked her about Zionism and asked her if she was a Zionist. And she said that she has to answer yes, because as far as she was concerned, all that it means is that a state called Israel, air quotes, has a right to exist. But when you get down to agreed boundaries and territory, things not only get somewhat spurious, they certainly get violent, because they've certainly annexed and encroached since 1948, when it was created. And even if you want to go as far as saying since 1967, even, Israel have broken every single agreement and accords that have ever happened in their history. So this excuse that is the definition of Zionism definitely has to be taken away from them. And you can only do that by calling it out for what it is and clearly saying that it is racist, because it is. And people will run from that just by fear of reputation. You know, apart from those who wear turquoise, she was saying, sometimes a different shade of blue, you'll seldom hear someone stand up and declare their racism. So no, the weaponisation of a race should not be allowed. Let's disarm it, and let's disarm Zionism.
Let's just put this to bed. Zionism is not racist.
It depends what you mean by Zionism, and I think that's...
Well, I think most of us know what Zionism means.
I genuinely wouldn't know what you meant by Zionism, and I said...
But I'm Ian Dale, and I'm not going to say what it is. Oh, you know what it means. Why don't you tell me what you think it means then? Fuckface. Ian Dale. Oh, no, it's just not what you say. Or he could have given 3 or 4 different versions, and he still would have got the same response from Dale. Oh no, that's not what the definition is. And again, a reminder, he's speaking to a Jewish man. Jesus, and his family escaped pogroms, like he said. Don't think Ian Dale has the same credentials on the matter.
Say that as a Jewish person. If we're talking about how Zionism...
You said you agreed with it a moment ago. You said it's in its initial incarnation, it was a perfectly reasonable thing.
But we're going back decades and decades, and I believe where it is now is very different to its initial carnation.
But the basis of it is that Jewish people have a right to their own state.
I don't...
No. Under international law, you can't exclusively have one religion, for example, or group. Goes against the Geneva Convention, other accords as well. But why the exclusivity? And that is not, again, what it was founded as. It's a land grab, and obviously for political leverage, these people are nutters. They are absolute nutters. And what they're going to, and again, waving a book around and a phony story and saying that's that legitimizes a genocide. It's beyond belief. And if you can't see what's being done, then you really are stupid, Ian. Like, really.
I think that is the basis anymore if you're Benjamin Netanyahu. I think at this point he talks about from the river to the sea and casting out the Palestinians. It's not just talk.
It's been weaponized. They've weaponized a religion. That is what it is. They have tried to hijack a faith and then weaponize it and use it as a political tool for the worst things imaginable, the very worst crimes imaginable. And this guy thinks he's smart. He can't see that is what has happened.
Hamas were talking about from the river to the sea.
And that in itself is obviously racist.
Casting out all Jews.
And both is horrific, but the difference is we're seeing the extermination of the Palestinian people on a daily basis. And so I think, again,
they don't want that again. They all lived together there for hundreds of years without any violence. And the only time that they've acted violently against Israel is in self-defense, which they have a lot of experience in. They have decades of experience in that.
If that's your definition of Zionism, then that is clearly racist. So again, I think it's less about the label and more what can we do as politicians against the Israeli government, which is stopping the selling of arms.
You just can't wait to interrupt and try and defend genociders, really, can he? That's what Ian Dale's all about. Complete hack. Have you ever seen that clip? It was a thing on a pier, I think on a beachfront pier, and he was literally wrestling a pensioner who was there to protest. It was some Tory thing that Dale was attending, and he literally wrestled a man in his 70s, I believe. Let's take a look at a national poll now, actually, whilst we're just talking about the Greens. Just got this here now. Yeah, because this one's quite interesting. This doesn't feature the new Refresh or whatever they fucking call it, but the Restore Rupert Law's imitation party. So this shows a 10% gap at the top. However, it is between Reform and the Greens, with Reform losing, I know it's as low as you can lose, -1. Well, the Tories have lost 3%. Labour there, down in 4th. That is a find out now poll though, for the general election voting intention. SNP 3%. I still think giving a bit too much to Reform there. That again doesn't feature Restore. None of them feature your party yet either. But we'll soon know who's going to be the Your Party leader. One reason they might have taken a dip in the polls, not just because of the abundance of times that Farage has been mentioned in the Epstein files, but TV appearances like this, where he dodges a question about trying to appear as though he's man of the people, but his so-called shadow cabinet, which we discussed a little bit on the last live stream, and comes up in the most recent video, which I'm sure you're going to check out and hit thumbs up on. But shadow cabinets, shadow cabinet, they think they're the main opposition at the moment, so they had this thing the other day announcing a shadow cabinet But one journalist pointed out that they're all private school boys.
To you, Suella, you went to a private school that charges £17,000 a year.
Oh dear, you better emigrate, I think. I mean, clearly, it's absolutely appalling.
Richard,
what a terrible human being she must be.
Not at all, not at all. Richard, Nigel, Robert and Zia, I believe, all went to expensive private schools.
They did.
Fun.
Good, what fun. Well, it is, yeah, because you're there. I'm man of the people. Expensive education. Bank at Coots. A stockbroker, a stock trader.
What do you say to members of the
Multimillionaire.
public who might query your party's commitment and belief in state education? And are you able to confirm whether your children go to state schools?
By the way, I love the FT. It's fantastic.
No, he won't. He won't. Because they don't. What's he going to go? What's he going to go with?
The day after the big Mandelson story broke, your front page politics story was about a reform councillor in Kent. So we'll leave it there and we'll move on.
They're the ones who brought it up, and well, one of the ones who brought it up in the first place. In fact, Scandalous'n himself said that it was an FT obsession shortly before he told one of the journalists to fuck off. Yeah, didn't address that whatsoever. So they're all spivs, the whole lot of them. Anybody who buys this man of the people thing for Nigel Farage, or any of them, Jenrick, who's going to be the Shadow Chancellor, and then straight off the bat says he's going to overturn the two-child benefit cap, which Starmer had to do a U-turn on because it was so unpopular. I mean, come on. But someone who does have a bit more sense and rightly calls out reform here in this clip is former Green Party leader Caroline Lucas.
I want to say that your position is utterly incoherent. You have cited no evidence that suggests that it's the Equalities Act that is responsible for discrimination against white working-class boys. And when it comes to the wider issue of taking your word on anything that you've said, it seems to be a really muddled message that when you say something about Robert Jenrick a few years ago and you don't really know him, we're not to take it seriously, whereas now we are to take you seriously.
Oh, and look, it's Zia Youssef on the BBC again. And last night had question time, of course, without a Green Party member on the panel, but there was a Reform representative, of course, and this is right in the run-up to the general election. And here's Zia Youssef yet again.
We've got a party that pretends to be an insurgent party, an anti-establishment, anti-elite party, and yet it's stuffed full of old Tory retreads. I mean, it just doesn't add up. And I think people looking at this press conference this afternoon are just going to feel this party just doesn't know what it's doing. The interesting thing, of course, was that Nigel Farage was trying to present the other spokespeople as a way of saying, you know, it's no longer just about me, it's about all of us. 25 questions he was asked by the press, well, rather all of you were asked by the press, and Nigel Farage answered all of them.
Yeah, well put there. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. Not a Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it really has flown by, hasn't it? I can't believe it's just a week now. Quite excited, actually. Good.
Jurassic Park.
Still got to get over the line, though. Nina Sadie. Thanks a lot for joining us on the stream. We'll catch you next time. Big Jerry, if you haven't left yet, thanks for joining us as well on stream. But for everybody else, please double check that you've filled out the poll. Will Andrew Mountbatten Windsor go to court? And if so, will he be found guilty or not guilty? Or will he not go to court at all? So many options. Another shout out to the marvellous members on the channel. 211 even. Can't say how much we appreciate all of the excellent support that we've had on the channel, especially since we started doing live streams as well. So thanks every single one of you. Super chats also open if you're watching live, super stickers as well, super thanks if you're watching back later on, and please consider using the link for the Buy Me a Coffee page, which you'll find in the description of any content here on My Left Eye. Thanks again. Chuck us some of your hype points as well whilst you're at it, please, people. If you're watching on mobile device, please do that on videos as opposed to live streams. We had a video out this afternoon. Well, it went public this afternoon. It was members only. Members first. Just one of the benefits. So yeah, open one of our recent videos. And when you hit thumbs up there, you might get the hype points option. Just setting up a raid, so stick around, people. And there's post-ending shenanigans, as it were, as usual. Back with more streams here during the week as well. Surf times are up. We've not been into surf times for a while. This space is there as well. But we haven't been into surf times for a bit, so let's show some Solidari-Tea. And raid there. Is everybody okay with that? Well, the changes are saved. And also, the poll is now closed. A fairly decisive win. So most of you are actually feeling optimistic that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor will go to court and be found guilty. Let's hope so. Let's really hope so. That will be something. That will be another great win. Arrested today on his birthday as well, of course. Happy birthday, David Attenborough. Magnifico. Alright, people. We'll see you over on the raid. Hit thumbs up, give us a shout out while you're there. That's just about it from yours truly, Lefty, here on the Brews at 10, on My Left Eye. Just close out by saying, power to the people. Let's celebrate the freedom of the Filton 24, Free Palestine, Lebanon, Yemen and Sudan. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And just finally, don't watch the news, be the news. Good night.
It's what Hitler and Goering did, and it is textbook. And if you think the next time it happens, we're gonna recognize it because they're wearing scary uniforms, you're out of your damn mind.
The door is open and you can leave.